We aren't even live.
We are now, by the looks of it.
We aren't, Michael.
Of course, we live. Been live 20 seconds, man.
Oh, my apologies, everyone. I didn't see the live button go up. Anyway, we'll forget that. Hello, everyone.
Well done. What a start. What a start.
SAFC Fan TV. My error, my judgment there. And to another instalment, of course, of the Sunday Bunch. Joining us this week on the panel, first of all, he's mad, he's mental. It's the mad mistake. Terry, how you doing?
Sick as a chip. Sick of those skinny little chips I've just eaten today. Sick as a chip.
I'm sick as well after the result yesterday. Dino, you're joining us as well tonight. Have you got over yesterday yet? Are you through it?
Yeah, I'm through it. We're going to talk about it again. I feel like there's going to be a lot of disagreements. I've just got a feeling. Got a sly feeling there's going to be a lot of disagreements today.
I disagree with you there, mate. I disagree with that.
I have a feeling there could be rather a few arguments. And also joining us, of course, in another new location in his house. It's Michael Bowers. Michael, how are you getting on?
I'm going to give the super sexy name. But hey, there's the legs.
Oh, whoa, Michael. Whoa.
Michael, PG, show me it, are we?
This is PG compared to what was happening off air. That's all I'm going to say.
Right. Well, we'll leave that.
Before we get started with the show, can I show you lads something?
Feel free, Terry. Right. I mean, you're going to anyway.
When I got up this morning, it was blue skies, absolutely beautiful blue skies. Now look at it out there.
Oh, the snow.
It's not even snowing. It's not even snowing where I am.
You couldn't make it up. Anyway,
you think that's snowing? Have you seen what it's like? I don't know if anyone's got Sheffield United Arsenal on. Have you seen what it's like at Bramall Lane?
No, Michael. Oh, well.
Snowy.
Anyway, snowy. Well, I could have guessed, given where the conversation was going. Anyway, lads, we're going to kick off, of course, with yesterday. Our first defeat in quite a while. Charlton Athletic 1, Sunderland 1, Charlton Athletic 2.
Well, we won 2-1. I'll take that. Thanks very much.
Terry, I don't know what you did. Anyway, well, we'll start with you. I was going to start with Terry, but we'll start with you, Dino. Dino, where did it all go wrong yesterday?
From the first goal, really, wasn't it? I mean, we had them two chances what should have been put away, but you could say who was in goal for them? Pim, was his name Pim?
Ben Amos.
No, it wasn't Pim. Ben Amos. Pim's Peterborough's keeper, any sorry. Ben Amos was in goal. You could say it was a great save, or you could say Charlie White made it easy for him. I mean, it's up to you the way you want to put it, but for me, Charlie White should be burying that every day of the week. It just shows that the form he's on at the minute. He's struggling to get a goal. And then we had another chance. I think it was Aidan O'Brien's header. Ben Amos again, reaction save. He just made himself big and it hit his hand. Anywhere else, it's a goal. And then, I mean, I think Luke O'Nien hit our own post off when it came off his head, we were a bit lucky there, to be fair. And when them got the goal, I mean, I'm trying to remember what the first goal was like. It was the header, wasn't it? It was I don't know who lost
header down, but struggled to save it, and Scowen sliced it, tried to clear the ball, but he sliced it into his own net.
But let's be fair, right? Everyone blames Lee Burge. Yeah, I can totally see that. I'm one of Lee Burge's biggest supporters. Yeah, I can say he made a terrible mistake, but how was a defender getting a free header in the box? Let's be fair. I mean, Lee Burge made the save. Lee Burge made the save, and Scowen's just sliced it. I mean, 9 times out of 10, that gets cleared. But Scowen sliced it because he's just hacked at it, and most of the time that gets cleared.
Yeah,
and it really went from there. It was individual mistakes. I mean, their second goal as well came from a throw-in. Terrible. I mean, Lyndon Gooch just stopped running with Gilby. Gilby sliced at it again, miskicked it, but luckily the ball still fell for him for a second attempt. He put it through Lee Burge's legs, and it was 2-0. And I mean, after that, it's an uphill battle regardless. Yeah, we pulled the goal back, but to be fair, we could have been 2-0 up in the first half, and that just shows what the game was like yesterday. We should have scored more goals and we didn't, and well done to Charlton. They took the chances from our own mistakes.
Yeah, just a reminder, of course, contrary to what I believed when we did go live, we are live tonight. I mean, the live chat is there. If you want to get yourselves in there and comment, whatever, we're going to throw it open to you as well tonight. If you've got a suggestion, anything you want us to talk through, any questions you'd like to ask us, stick them in there, and we'll see if there's anything in there we can go through and talk about. Super Chat, of course, is activated as well. If you would like to donate, but it is still free to chat. If you'd like to put something in the live chat, we'll read out as many comments as we can. Michael, we'll go to you next. Sunderland got beat again 2-1 yesterday. Not a great result, was it?
No, obviously not. But it wasn't. I did say going into the game, we can't take Charlton lightly, and that's exactly why. I think contrary to what I know, a lot of people said that it was terrible. I think second half, at least until we scored, was diabolical. I'm not going to take anything away from that. We didn't show enough heart. We didn't show enough. Maybe that's not the right word. We just didn't. Not enough. Okay, not enough players just took responsibility. Simple as that. First half should have been 2-0 ahead, but nevertheless we didn't take our chances. We weren't. I didn't think first half we were that bad. I thought we were creating the more chances in the game. I think Charlton obviously got a big slice of luck with the first goal, but they're not going to not take it, are they? You get that luck going in your favour, of course you're going to accept it.
Go back to Wembley when we played them, we got luck.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, and even then we still managed to lose the game somehow. But either way, it is a damaging defeat. It's not one that we needed. All I will say for Charlton is well done on the victory. But you better do that against Peterborough and Hull. I'm just saying, because that's one of the things that's annoyed the hell out of me. Where since we've come down to this league, when teams lose the game against us, I've got no issue with that. But it's when they do that and then lose to sides around us. It's like, well, you clearly can give the bigger sides a bit of a game. So, don't just do it against us. But that's by the by. They don't play Peterborough and Hull for another couple of games yet. From our own, but again, they've got their own playoff ambitions to go for. The second Charlton goal, I was furious at the defending for it, and Lyndon Gooch in particular, who I know I might make him a scapegoat, but he's got to be dropped. There's absolutely no way you can justify him starting the next game. So, it was poorly defended. He lost his man, didn't follow his man into the box, which is, to be fair, Gooch is actually kind of unlike him. That's one of the things I can say that he's got. He's got work rate and commitment, and it just seemed there was a lack of desire to stop that second goal. And then obviously we've got to go back. Whoop-de-doo. It didn't count for it. All it does was just add to the goals scored tally for this season. It didn't obviously contribute positively towards the results. We gave ourselves too much to do, and all I'll say after that game is, let's see what this Sunderland side are made of. This is the first probably major setback we've had for 2 months, I think. Around about 2 months since that Shrewsbury defeat. So let's see what they're made of and see how they respond.
Just on that goal, I know you said it didn't really contribute much, but I did see a slight pick up in the intensity after that goal. And I mean, it didn't really contribute for anything because we weren't able to get a second goal. But I did see our heads pick up a little bit, maybe a bit more fight, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just frustrating for me that it took that to get ourselves to get the fight into it. Where, irrespective of Oxford going out 10 minutes, whatever it is, we picked up 4 points in the last 2 games from losing positions. So why did our heads drop why weren't we at 1-0? Having the same intensity that we were after we scored. I know when mentally, if you score a goal, it can uplift everybody. Well, unless you're 5-0 down and you get a consolation, it doesn't really matter that much. But in that sort of game, you can be lifted by scoring that. I do get that, but that should have been there from the start of the second half. If that had been there from the start of the second half, I don't think we'd have lost. But it doesn't matter. We lost the game. Let's just see how we bounce back.
Dino, I know you're all wanting in there, but we still haven't made it Terry yet. So Terry, yesterday, your thoughts?
I've seen more fight in a queue, the Big Mac's queue. I tell you what a bunch of bottlers yesterday they were. Absolute bunch of bottlers. Charlton raised the game yesterday. No, we were completely shit. Simple as we were shite yesterday. I don't care. Everybody says Charlton deserved the win. We were just useless. We've changed our tactics. What's with all the deep ball crosses these days? Charlie White has no pace. We know he has no pace. Why are we feeding him balls? 30 yards away from the goal. He needs to be in the penalty spot. Crosses coming in from the byline. One touch Charlie White. What's happened to that? Since the Tranmere match, we've changed tactics. We're not doing this anymore. It's crazy. Dropping Jones, one of our best players. It's unbelievable. Dave Crosses a need good. Charlie White's need good. 30 yards from goal. He should have put his foot through it. He was surprised. He did really well to get the ball to the defender. Did all the hard work. All he had to do was put the ball high over the keeper or put his foot through it low, and it would have been 1-0 to Sunderland. Then it's a different ball game altogether. I mean, people are blaming Lee Burge, but at the end of the day, why is Scowen on the touchline? Is there nobody else that's a bit bigger on the touchline? Anybody else on the touchline would have saved that goal. That's why players are on the touchline, on the goal line, to defend the goal line, not kick it in the back of your net. You cannot blame Lee Burge because Burge has had a fantastic season. He's done brilliant apart from the first game of the season. He's kept us in loads of matches this season. So he's entitled to make a mistake every now and again. And he should have someone there. I know somebody's watching his back, somebody helping him out, but Scowen kicks the ball in the back of his own net. Why on earth Scowen's even in the team is beyond beggars' belief. Probably because he's Lee Johnson's best mate. That's the only reason why he's in the team. Scowen brings nothing, absolutely nothing to that midfield. especially with Winchester together. The pair of them are weak as piss. Anybody can walk straight through them. We need a stronger midfield. A midfield of 3 because we have an attacking midfielders apart from Luke going 9, but he's in defence. So we need a midfield of 3. We need somebody in front of those 2. Let those 2 go forward. Let someone like Lee Catterham home, bloody Ledbetter, with a wise head on his shoulders to control the game. And let those 2 headless chickens get in front somewhere. Hey, actually, leave Scout on the bench. Put Power and Winchester in the midfield.
Do not see you wanting that, but just very quickly, we're going to quickly go to the live chat. I want to say hello to Alan Walton, Isaac Green, Dan Humphrey, Anthony Perth, SAFC Dave 17, Daniel Gunn, our good friend Tom Wallace, Thane SAFC, who's now got a blue spanner. He's now moderating, and congratulations on 500 subscribers as well, Thane. Hello to David Walker, Lauren Kenny, Robert Foster. Hello to Mick Griffiths as well, Jim Dixon, and Daniel Gunn as well. Dino, I can see you wanted in just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, on what Terry was saying about the crossing, that was some of the worst crossing I've ever seen in a game. I mean, the amount of times he put the ball in the box, it wasn't beating the first man, it was going over everybody. I mean, you've got 2 players in the box who should be winning headers. I mean, don't get us wrong, Rod Stewart won a lot of headers, flicking the balls on when it was going up to him, but there was nobody running off him. So he was just heading it to nobody. I mean, you got someone to get past him, because Rod Stewart will win headers. It's as simple as that. He's 6'4" and he will win headers. But the crossing in the box, it was either too short or too long, and it was awful. Just like, how many crosses you want to put in the box before you realise you can't cross a ball?
Yeah.
I don't get why we left Jones on the bench. Jones against Peterborough, they were absolutely shit scared of him in the first half. They were fouling him, hacking him down. They got yellow cards and all sorts. Then we leave our most creative player, apart from McGeady, on the bench. Absolutely unbelievable. Why are we playing defensive football against Charlton at home?
Just on Jordan Jones, I was listening to the Roto Report podcast this morning. They do their player ratings, and Matty Crichton made quite a fair point, in my opinion, saying we're now in this age of sports science, and there might have been something put forward to say because Jordan Jones is coming back from an injury, he can only have a certain amount of minutes in a certain amount of time. And I just thought he might have been onto something there. I mean, to me, I cannot see how anyone can put Gooch in that start line ahead of Jordan Jones. I know it's a slightly different position because Gooch was I think he was more of a wing back yesterday. We were playing 3-4-3. That's maybe not a position you put Jordan Jones in. But regardless, with a slight change of formation, going 4-2-3-1, Jones could have been on the right side of the 3 and would have been a far better outlet than Gooch. I think the entire side would have been set up better. Terry, I know you were just wanting in there for a second.
There's a message on here saying he was asked to be benched due to family reasons. Now, I think his girlfriend's due to give birth, but he came on anyway, and he played possibly on the wrong side, the left side, rather than his favourite right side. So, on hindsight, it was a complete waste of time. He may as well played the first 45 minutes, ran his heart out, got us in front, took him off at half time, and then put somebody else on. Pointless.
Yeah, do you know you wanting in there?
Yeah, that is a good point. If his lass has got having a baby, and she goes into labour, why don't you have him on the pitch? And then when it does come through that his lass, he can come straight off. I've seen it done before. It's been done before. I think it was either last season or the season before. I think a Doncaster player or something that happened to him. He was playing the game, he got word, and he come off. Why would you, someone who's going to be having a baby, you keep him on the bench, bring him on, and then once if his lass goes into labour when he's on the pitch, when you've just brought him on, you'd have to bring him back off. It's a waste of a sub. So if anything, you start him until the news comes through, or it might not even come through, and then you can take him off and put Gooch on. And Gooch for me was, I mean, this bloke thinks he's Messi at times.
Don't get me started.
His decision making is some of the worst decision making I've ever seen. I mean, he took on one player, got tackled because he tried to take another person on. And I seen one where Dion Sanderson wanted a 1-2. All he had to do was play the ball first time, and he took a touch and got the ball taken off him. It's like, can you not play the first time pass? It's like it's impossible in this man's mind. He had a terrible game yesterday. Honestly, terrible.
I've quite liked Gooch, and honestly, in his time at Sunderland, I really do have a lot of respect for his endeavour and his work ethic, but it's getting harder and harder to defend him now. I think my mistakes turn into the Dominator. I think he's always been a bit of a Dominator deep down. But yeah, Gooch recently, like you say, it's his decision making. I used to always say it's his decision making in the final third, but I think I've translated that now. It's all over the pitch. There was that time just over the halfway, and I think it was as the first half was coming to an end, and he had a couple of simple passes he could have played, but he went to cut inside and tried to beat 3 players at one time. And Dino, I think you said it on that point of the watch along, saying what's he trying to do there? But it was one of us anyway. There's simple passes you can play, and you're trying to cut inside, beat 3 players to make it just didn't make any sense at all. Lads, obviously, we've touched on Jones not playing and Gooch playing as well. But overall, I wasn't a massive, upon reflection, I think I've decided I wasn't a massive fan of the lineup anyway. Terry, what did you make of Lee Johnson's lineup yesterday?
Well, it's crazy. I think I'd rather go 4-3-3. I said before, we need a stronger midfield. All season, we've needed a strong midfield. We get overrun. Even the Parkinson, it felt to me yesterday, we went back to the Parkinson days. We went back to the Parkinson days. We were being overrun in midfield too. Piss poor midfielders, weak as piss in the centre of the park, and they just loved it, Charlton, to overrun us. And it just felt like we're going the deep crosses again. It was just, it was awful to watch. I feel like, I want Lee Johnson to succeed so much, and I love him to bits, but I thought yesterday he bottled it along with the whole of the team. Absolute bottle job all round yesterday.
Just something that Thane's just said there, saying, can someone please tell me what McLaughlin has done wrong? He's had a very good season at right back, pretty much consistent, and you got Power ahead of him instead of at either right back or right centre back. Now that was kind of my point. Terry, I can just say you want to get one.
Exactly, McLaughlin is right back, put Power in the centre midfield, and then hopefully Bailey Wright gets fit, bring Luke O'Nien with Power, with Ledbetter just behind. Have a strong midfield. Feed Jones, feed McGeady, and get White in the box on the penalty spot where one-touch Charlie White can start scoring with his head. When was the last time he scored with his head? He gets no assists now.
Yeah, just very quick, I just want to mention 138 people watching, 23 likes. If you haven't already, please do give us a like. Just hit that thumbs up icon. If you have got the live chat up on your mobile device, you might need to close it first and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're doing this every Sunday as well as our watch-alongs to every game and Thursday night live. Dino, the team selection yesterday, I think he got it wrong in a few places, to be honest. As much as I actually thought McFadden had, again, an all-right game yesterday, dare I say, I don't think he was too bad. I would have rather seen Hume come in there myself. Now I know he's coming back from an injury minutes. That could be an entirely a problem to do with his match fitness. But I think there was a few problems in the lineup. What did you make of it? Were you disappointed at all looking back at it?
At the time, the only one I was a bit confused on was the Jones and Gooch, because I was thinking you've dropped Jones, who's been outstanding since he's came here. He scares defenders. He gives you something different to what Gooch gives you. I mean, you can blame the formation all you want if it was 3-5-3 or whatever you want to talk about, like formations, because formations are overrated. The players do exactly the same when in right mid, left mid, right wing, right back. They always get back and forward. That's what a midfielder is supposed to do regardless. Doesn't matter what position you play. That was the only one I was happy with the centre midfield. I thought we've got plenty of legs, because I feel like we need legs in there. I know as good as Grant Bit has been, I mean, he is very slow, and like I could say, right, Winchester's in there, Scowen's in there. They give you plenty of energy, plenty of run around. They get stuck in, but the centre midfield's always been a problem because we don't create anything. Everything comes down the wings. I've never seen a centre midfielder for us burst through the middle to get beyond the striker. That's why we're struggling in centre midfield, because nothing comes from there. It's just sideways and backwards. And yeah, Terry, go. What do you want to say?
Exactly, that's why two midfielders doesn't work, because they're not good enough. They're just not good enough. They can't pass the ball. They've got no creativity in them. We need someone else in midfield to hold and help the defenders, because the defenders obviously, not great at the moment. They've done well, but obviously they still need help. But we need that holding midfielder to give the license to two other midfielders to get forward, to help the forward line.
Yeah, Terry,
I'm never going to say Johnson got it wrong, because that means, I could do a better manager than Lee Johnson. That's what you try to say when you say, he got it wrong. He made mistakes, but let's be fair, that team should be good enough to go out there and win anyway. I mean, let's not say, it was all because we didn't play Jones and Hume that we got beat. That team's still capable of going out there and winning. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, I've gave Johnson a lot of praise, and even back in the Shrewsbury, when we played Shrewsbury, we got beaten. There was actually a few fans starting to really raise question marks. I was one of the fans who was saying, I'm not going to criticise him myself, because I've really, really rated him in his time at Sunderland. But I think you got to raise questions over his lineup yesterday. I really wasn't a fan of the way we put Power in right centre back instead of Conor McLaughlin, either as a right back or a right centre back. When McLaughlin just seems to be more sound defensively, I also think Power is really improving than Johnson in midfield, and maybe we'll lack his presence in midfield again. But Dino, I can see you wanting in.
Yeah. By the way, do you know at the end of the game who asks the questions? Is it Frankie Fraser Frankie Francis who answers the questions them after the game?
No, I don't.
Do you not know? I don't want to slay anyone, right? But as a reporter, you've got to ask them questions. Why didn't you say? Why did you drop Jordan Jones? Why was like ask these questions? Like they just say, "Oh, what's it? What the game? What happened?" Like answer the question. When the team gets given out, that's kind of the start of the game. That's when you start to say, right, what the team is. Right, I don't agree with that. Is a someone who interviews Lee Johnson? Why didn't you say why is Power playing right centre back? Why is Jordan Jones not playing? Like give us, like give the fans, like, because we're all asking the same questions. Why has he done that? And the manager should be able to tell why he's done that instead of us all guessing game or sports science. He's last has got a baby. Tell me why you've done them changes.
Dino, Frankie Fraser's probably a lovely lad, but he's getting paid by the club probably to do this job. So I think he's probably going to try and be a bit PC and not ask the dangerous questions, the nasty questions like me and you would ask. I mean, as much as I love Lee Johnson, the bits, he gets all the praise when things go right, so he has to get some criticism when it goes wrong. He gets paid the big money. He gets paid the big money. Big money. If I was getting paid his wage and I got things wrong, I'd take the criticism. I'm a big enough person to take the criticism when I'm wrong. And you have to accept, he has to take the criticism. Simple as, there's no point of people, asking the questions and then he go in the hoof. No, he has to accept and he takes the praise. He's happy when the praise comes his way. He also has to have a bit of criticism as well. Keep him on his toes.
Yeah, I do agree. Go on, Dino. See what
the thing is, all right. I know, like, all we can really criticise manager on is the team selection and maybe tactics. But at the end of the day, the players are the ones who go on and do these useless crossing.
Yeah, but Dino, I know what you're saying, but all we're saying is, could the team selection have actually been better yesterday? Which, in my opinion, looking at it, 100% could have been. There was a few areas I would like to say change.
Yeah, of course it could. But do you risk bringing starting Hume and then getting injured? Like, I mean, it's very weird when you bring players back from injury because
maybe that was a weak point.
You do say if he's on the bench, he's good enough to start. I get that. But is there a reason why Hume's only playing the last 20 minutes instead of... Because you can't really start him and then 20 minutes into the game take him off because that looks stupid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was more Conor McLaughlin on the bench for Max Power. And I do get that. I think Hume's a different one because, there are so many factors going into it. Michael, you've been very quiet on this. I'm going to come to you now. The team selection
I've just been happy listening to the arguments going on. Was that right? I'll end up getting involved in them later, I'm sure.
Rather entertaining. But Michael, the team selection yesterday, are you in alignment with ourselves? Do you think it could have been better?
Yeah, there's elements of it that could have been better. I still maintain that I think I would... Conor McLaughlin's a funny one. I've said that I don't particularly rate him as a fullback. I rate him as a centre-half. I think in a back three or even in a back two, I think he's more than competent. I just think when a lot of our emphasis is on attacking, I don't think Conor McLaughlin's good enough to get up and down the wings very quickly to try and supply more offensive options. That's why for me, if say for example if you had to have Luke O'Nien in the back four, have him as a full back at the right back because he can get forward up and down the pitch quicker, and McLaughlin's competent enough defensively, I'd like to think, to partner Dion Sanderson. That's the argument I would make. But if you're gonna, like I said, if you were going to play with the back three yesterday, McLaughlin should have started probably. The midfield, there should in theory should have been enough there to really have a go and beat Charlton, but at the end of the day, it's a mixture of both. The players have got to take the responsibility when they go out on the pitch. Not enough people need to realise that a little bit more, in my opinion. Having said that, though, Terry is also right. Lee Johnson's got. We've been quick. I think Lee Johnson's escaped quite a lot of criticism this season. And by the way, fair enough. We've had a really good run recently. But there have been elements of that team selection yesterday which was questionable. Like I've said before, Lyndon Gooch. The others have touched on it. Lyndon Gooch is pretty much all pace and no brain, or very little brain. He seems to be able to... I think his entire plan is just run at people, forget how he's going to get past people. Oh, I'll just do it. I'll run towards them and just try and skill my way past them. Whereas Jordan Jones, you can tell he's probably a more intelligent footballer than Lyndon Gooch is. And again, Lyndon Gooch has got work rate. And I think if you brought Gooch off the bench, when you're winning a game, you're leading a game, that's where Lyndon Gooch can be good. But when he tries to be the Messi or Ronaldo of League One, which he needs to get out of his head because he's not that. He's definitely not that. He needs to realise or needs to improve his decision-making drastically when to release a ball, when to try and take players on. And so stop being so damn selfish half the time as well. Selfishness can be okay to a point, but when it's costing your team the chance to score a goal or costing your team to get organised, whatever it is, then it really irates me and frustrates me. Jordan Jones, you can tell, is just a level above. And if we were going to bring him on for the last 20 minutes, then who's to say why shouldn't he have started? the fact of the matter, well, hopefully, like I said, against Wigan, John Jones is probably going to have to start that game. So we'll have to wait and see. Lee Johnson definitely has got to take some criticism, but I would say that in general, to be fair to him, he has got the team selections bang on more than when he hasn't. Yesterday was his first real, well, you could argue his first real blip, if you like, in terms of team selections.
Right, just quickly back onto the chat. Isaac Green says Levitt just slows the game down. In my opinion, he does, but that can at times be a good thing, at times be a bad thing. It's about managing it correctly. Chris Scott says spot on, Mr. Bowers. Bradley Young says Dino could play centre midfield and he would take on a lot of people. Nigel Dunn says Drew Parkinson strung us down. Jimmy asking, is Maguire injured? I think he is. Marianne Carlos saying it's still in our hands. We're going to get on there. Can we?
His career's finished with us anyway.
Yeah, I don't think Johnson likes him, in my opinion. But on Marianne's comment saying it's still not hands, we're going to get on to can we still get promoted a bit later on. But do you not see you wanting in again? Yeah, on the whole Gooch thing, do you think Gooch looks over at McGeady and seeing McGeady taking players on, having long shots, and he thinks, I can do the same?
Replicate that.
But the thing is, Gooch doesn't realise McGeady's played at a much higher level. When he goes past players, he actually goes past players, and he's one of these people who can he's like our Messi. Like he can just change a game like that. He can have a wonder strike or a free kick, and I feel like Gooch thinks he can do that as well, but he's just nowhere near the level as McGeady. McGeady's been there, done it. I mean, he's played in Champions League. I mean, Gooch has played in the Premier League once and we got relegated. I mean, yeah, he's came through the academy and that, but he's just not good enough, in my opinion. He's just not. He's just all pace and no brain.
If we got an offer in the summer for Gooch, would you be tempted to sell him?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I mean,
I think it's a shame, really, because I don't want it to come to that, but I probably would.
Especially if we were to go up. I think he could definitely be a decent League One player, but he's just there's some key problems that need sorting out, and I think overall it's his game intelligence, it's his decision making, it's knowing when to take on a player, knowing when to release the ball. His end product, I think, is significantly improved in League One, but I think he's went backwards a little bit as a player, in my opinion. I thought he'd really improved, and then he's kind of went backwards again. Tony Lee saying panel being a bit harsh on Gooch, in my opinion. Tom Garrigan saying we still need to win those games and handle. Yes, Terry, I can see you wanting in.
I just want to say, I know his name is Frankie Francis. Him and Danny do a fantastic job on the live stream at Sunderland, and he's probably got a mortgage to pay, so he doesn't want to ask too many difficult questions in case it puts his job in jeopardy. I'm sure it wouldn't, but yeah, he's a good bloke, good to watch, good channel altogether. But I've got a feeling that Power's the captain, so he won't be dropped. Scowen is loved by Lee Johnson, so he won't be dropped. And Winchester's a new signing who he actually likes as well, so I think he feels obligated, not all the time, but I think he wants to try and play the three players that he knows he's trying to get into the team. And those three players together just doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't actually think it is Frankie who asks the questions at the end of the game, but I know what you're saying, Terry, and I do echo it largely. The incident isn't Gooch about 25 now. I think there was a few comments saying that Lee Offman's a bit of a young lad. I think he actually is about 24, 25, 26. So I don't think you can consider him as a young player anymore. For me, he's of the age where he should be playing week in, week out at whatever level he's at. Or at the very least, but he's a first team player. He's not an academy player anymore. Mick Griffiths, he said he's 30 minutes, so we'll catch the rest of the show tomorrow. We'll bounce back tomorrow with a 2-0 win on Tuesday. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, folks. Ta-ra. See you later, Mick. Thank you for joining us. Adam French saying he's an average player. Sell him. Jeff Holcroft saying Embleton should be starting for us now. Obviously, he's at Blackpool, he got loaned out and he seems to be doing quite well. But lads, we're going to go on to our next fixture, which is Wigan. Daniel, I'll come to you first. They've just beaten Doncaster 4-1. Does that concern you at all, or is this the time we're going to bounce back and now we're going to get our promotion charge back on track?
No, I mean it's one game. I mean they've been in the relegation zone, I think, since the season began. I mean it's one game. I mean we've been there where we're in a relegation scrap and we'll just pull out a freak result against a Man City or Man United back in the day. I mean it happens. I mean look at last season in the Championship we were relegated and we beat Derby. Who was it? No, it wasn't Derby. It was who did we beat? Was it who did we beat when last game of the season? I think it was
Wolves.
In the Championship, you mean? Yeah, Wolves 3-0.
Yeah,
but previously we beaten Derby, which was before we got relegated, before we got confirmed.
Before relegation was confirmed, we won 4-1 away at Derby, who were in the top six.
So it's just freak results. I mean, you do have them. I mean, Doncaster might have not turned up, and Wigan just had the backs up that game. You just don't know. But I'm not worried about it. I mean, I'm sure Lee Johnson would want to get his revenge after he took charge just an hour in, and he picked the team and everything like that against Wigan. Because technically that was his first defeat, even though I don't class it as his first defeat, because he was only there for an hour and he had just met the players.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he'd want to get that victory over them for that particular game. But I'm not worried in the slightest. I mean, they're down there for a reason. We are where we are for a reason, and we just need to turn up and actually take our chances if we get them. Because again, it could be a game where if we don't take chances, they might just nick one. So you've got to take your chances tomorrow on Tuesday.
Yeah, 100%, Dino. Terry, I'll go to you next. Wigan, they're sat in the relegation zone. I think they've been there just about all season. They've only got one win in the last 6 games. Is this the game we're going to win? We're going to bounce back. Confidence is going to be sky high. And then we're going to enter Blackpool. We're going to win that game. And then we're going into the last 5 games of the season. And all of this, the season's done. Only in the playoffs is going over. Are you confident for tomorrow, Terry?
No, because we're not playing till Tuesday. Sorry, mate. But anyway.
Sorry. Tuesday, my bad.
Tuesday.
Jack, I'm sorry, you're having a mare tonight, mate.
I am never confident with Sunderland at this moment in time. I've never been confident all season, to be fair. I've always predicted we're going to win because my heart wants us to win, but my brain's like always, I'm always worried about because it's Sunderland. We've been let down many times over the seasons, over the years, and I still feel like we're going to end up in the playoffs this season, I'm afraid. I think we've bottled it. I think we've lost the chance. I can't say Hull and Peterborough are slipping up at all this season now. 7 games to go, less for them. They're going to win all their games. So we'll beat Wigan, yes. And then end of the day, we'll just miss out. We'll end up with Charlton in the playoff final yet again for the 3rd time. And then it's a lottery.
Yeah. Also, Terry's in my corner then, because I think exactly the same thing.
David Spencer is saying early kick-off, 6 p.m. Tuesday. Yes, indeed. I had another comment as well I was going to read out. There we go. Nigel Dunn saying, I'll have some of what Jack's on. Clearly, my positivity is getting us on viewer. Anyway, Marianne Carlo, thank you very much for the $2 donation. As always, tuning in from Boston, Massachusetts. So thank you, Marianne Carlo, for that donation. That'll really help us out at the channel. Round of applause for Marianne Carlo. Thank you for that. Michael, you always know very much on the opposition going into Wigan on Tuesday, not tomorrow. How confident are you? Are we going to win?
Yes. I think this is I've said constantly that we shouldn't be so quick to write off our chances of top 2. Doesn't mean, by the way, me saying that doesn't mean we will get top 2. I just mean we shouldn't be so quick to write our chances off of it. Defeat to Charlton doesn't define it. How we respond, I've said it on Twitter, how we respond to this, however, is what will define where we finish. Wigan, they got a 4-1 win at Doncaster. Bear in mind, Doncaster are really bang out of form. Although I hope they pick up form soon because they've still got Peterborough to play twice in the last 3 games. But regardless, this is a game we should be winning. If we want our aim's top 2, whether people think it's on or not, I don't care. If the aim is top 2 now, we've got to be winning this game if we're going to have a chance of it. And psychologically for me, you win this game, put yesterday back of our heads, just think, right, we can't affect that. If we win on Tuesday, then all we can affect is the last 6 games. So Tuesday could make or break our season. If we don't win it, then I might start to think it will be playoffs. If we do win it, there's no reason why we can't finish in the top 2. But we do need, I will stress, mind you, we do need to up our performance levels a little bit. I know we're not going to be at the point where we're going to be playing Man City, Barcelona-esque football, fair enough. But I think we've been a little bit too laboured in recent games. I want to see a little bit more intensity from Sunderland. Not saying they're not trying, but I want to see. I think we could go up another gear. But yeah, I do think we'll beat Wigan.
Yeah, quite a fair point I think made from Mandy Max 16 saying League One is too unpredictable. It really is. Teams will have freak results quite often to the point where you don't really consider them freak results because they're quite expected. It's difficult to predict things in League One, but personally, going into the game on Tuesday, I'm very confident. You look at Wigan, 21st in the table. I know they did beat us 1-0 earlier in the season, but you've got to consider we had Aidan McGeady who hadn't even played a game since, last season actually when he was playing for Charlton. He'd been frozen out training with the 23s, wasn't even training with the first team. Johnson had literally been at the club for a matter of hours. That game to me isn't one you can really look at and look at it very seriously and judge it with any real respect because we had our backs against the wall in that game. So I'm quite confident going into Tuesday that we're going to bounce back and we'll have that extra confidence boost and an extra 3 points going into the final run in the season. We're going to get onto some predictions now. Michael, I'll go to you first. Score prediction for Tuesday evening.
Wigan 0, Sunderland 2.
Like it, Michael. Dino?
Sunderland 1, Wigan 0.
I'll take that, Terry.
Well, the writing's on the wall, like somebody said. Now, if Bailey Wright can't make the subs bench, can he come straight into the team? I'm not sure. How fit is Bailey Wright? Bailey Wright comes back a centre-back, put Luke 09 up front. Ledbetter hold the midfielder. Power 09, licensed to go
is he replacing
forward.
Charlie White, like?
Yeah. Denver Hume, is he fit enough to start above McFadzean? I'm not quite sure. So like I said, Bailey Wright, Sanderson, Ledbetter, Power 09, McFadzean, McLaughlin, Jones, White, McGeady, and then we'll go on to win 3-1.
Wait, Terry, I love the way you've done that. Maybe that should be a new segment of the show every week.
It looks like he's trying to do his own Sky Sports studio, trying his little analysis with a little board and trying.
Michael, he's not trying. He's pipped Sky Sports out. That was absolutely brilliant. Well done, Terry.
Don't pay a subscription for Sky Sports. Just watch this for free.
Yeah,
I have no idea what I said there, so I hope it sounded okay.
No, Terry, very good. I'm going to predict 2-0 victory for Sunderland. Like I say, I'm very confident going to this game. I'm just going to say very quickly, 178 people watching, 57 likes. We'd love to get 100 likes on a Sunday bunch. So if you haven't already, please do press the like button. If everyone was to press it now, we'll get to 100 likes. See if we can get it by the end of the show. Just press that thumbs up button. You might have to close your live chat if you're watching it on a mobile device, but it only takes a second and it doesn't cost anything. And it doesn't cost anything to subscribe as well. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to our channel. We do this every Sunday. We also do the Thursday Night Live and the watch along for every game. Dino, something that we were talking about quite a bit, and I know you feel quite strongly about this, that top two is now off. But personally, I don't think it is. I'm quite confident we're going to finish in the top two. But what are you thinking?
I mean, people call you negative and that you've give up and that. No, I'm just going off simple facts. We are now 8 points, I believe, behind Hull with 2 games in hand, and we are 5 points behind Peterborough with 1 game in hand on them. So if we win the game in hand with 2 points behind them, we've still got to play Hull. I say is if we win all our games and Hull win all their games, we still can't go up. But someone actually said we play Hull. Yeah, but if we beat Hull, we're still going to be 2 points behind them. And I don't see Hull or Peterborough slipping up. So if that is correct, if we only get beat against us but win the rest of the games, we still can't go up. Fate is out of our hands now. We've got to rely on other teams to do us favours, and let's be fair, that's not exactly reliable, is it? So for me, top two's gone. Simple as that. And the way we're playing, there's still a freak result to happen to us where we'll probably get beat again. You just don't know. You got Blackpool twice. One of them games could be where we get beat or draw. We are going to drop points. We're not going to win all the rest of the games now. Not after Charlton.
Yeah, Dean, if we did win all the games, we would get promoted.
We won't.
We will. If we win all the games, we will get promoted. Yeah.
We will.
We won't?
We will, because we've got 2 games in hand over Hull, and we've got to play Hull.
Yeah, but one of them games in hand is Hull, in it. It's Wigan and Hull. They're the 2 games in hand we've got.
There's not much difference. You still got 2 games in hand. If you win both games now, say we play 2 games more now, we only how many points behind Hull then? 2 points?
Yes.
You beat Hull, we won in front.
Oh, I thought Hull was one of the games.
Mathematically we can finish above Hull, but it does require us to win both games in hand and beat Hull.
Yeah, well, Michael, an easy way of saying that is to win every single game at the end of the season, including Hull. Now,
I mean, that would be nice. That would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd be surprised if we were to win every single game until now at the end of the season, because I just can't see it happening, because there's some decent teams in that Hull, but of course being one, we've got to play Blackpool twice, and even in the other games, you can still slip up against them. Teams like Northampton, they're probably going to sit back and make things difficult. Plymouth actually beat us when we played them last time. I don't think any of these games are going to be easy pushover games, but I'm still confident we're going to do it, is my point. You've got to consider as well, it's not as if Peterborough and Hull are invincible. They'll have lost games this season. They've dropped points. That's why they are confirmed champions or promoted already. So they've still got so much potential to slip up. Dino, I can say you want them again.
Yeah, but you've got to think, Hull City could go into that game and just say, we're just going to sit back. We'll just play for the draw, and then we can't beat them. If they've done that, we can't break teams down, and that's a fact.
Dino. What did Fleetwood do when they came to the stadium? Like, they sat back and played for the draw and we beat them. How many?
This is Fleetwood, though. This is Fleetwood, who's not even in the playoffs. This is mid-table Fleetwood.
Yeah, but the point, that's not the point. The point is that you're saying we can't break teams down. Fleetwood's an example where we could do that. We were 0-0 going into the last half an hour.
We've struggled against most teams. Fine, we've done it 1 game. How many times this season has people just sat back and we kind of break them down? It's been loads. And you're going off Fleetwood.
It's been far less frequent under Lee Johnson than it has been Phil Parkinson and Jack Ross.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I just don't think we can win every single game this season. For the rest of the season, I really don't.
Dino, and I'm not 100% confident that we can go and win every single game to the end of the season. In fact, I'd be rather surprised if we were to go and win every single game. My point, rather, is that Hull and Peterborough can still drop points from now until the end of the campaign. Of course they will. They aren't invincible. I mean, I bigged Peterborough up a lot before we played them. I think Hull are a great side. Both of them, they're going to be a challenging test. But that doesn't mean they're invincible. They can still drop points.
Well, wait there. Put this way. Terry says we bottle it against Charlton, so we'll bottle it against Hull if that's the case, because it's a pressured game.
Not necessarily. This could be the result that fires us going.
Well, spot on, Phil.
I really don't think we've played well since Portsmouth, and I've maybe hid away from that as a fact, and I've let that go of my head a little bit, and I'll admit that because the results have been really good. However, with that result yesterday, I think that's, dare I say, it's been coming because the performances haven't been brilliant as of late. But that result, I think, like I said, has been coming. It's one of them where it can fire on a bit and you can pick your performances up because you go, we don't want to lose again. We don't want that again. You know what I mean? And it can be a bit of a wake-up call, Dino.
I just really don't think Hull and Peterborough will drop points. I think it's just too close. And them, I just feel like them have got more than us. Like Peterborough's front three, they've got one of the top goal scorers in the league. They've got that Dembele who ripped us apart.
You know, we've got our assets.
We've got our assets, but I'm just going off.
Best defence in the league so far this season.
I really say we've got the best defence in the league, but don't Peterborough have the best goal scorers in the league?
We've got Aidan McGee. Look at his assist record. I think he's up there for assists in the league.
The thing is, we can argue about this all day, but at the end of the day, I don't believe we can go up now. I think.
Right. Here's a question I'll ask you
for me.
Right. Here's a question I'll ask you then. Right. So we're saying that we're not going to win every game. Right. Forget the fact Hull and Peterborough are brothers at the just for a second. What makes people think they're going to win every single game? But if you take Peterborough as a case study, they needed a late goal against Fleetwood to beat them, which, yes, they beat them, fair enough. Yes, they beat Accrington 2-0. That kind of scoreline's a freak. That doesn't happen almost every week. They were 2-0 up against Rochdale and needed an equaliser there to get a 3-3 draw. They lost away at Blackpool. So we're talking about Blackpool. Peterborough went and lost there. They lost twice to Blackpool, actually. Who else am I thinking of? Peterborough went away to Crewe and got beat when we got a point there, if we're basing it off that. Hull have lost at home to MK Dons. They've lost at home to the sides that you don't expect them to lose to. I'm not saying they're not going to win every single game, but why do people all of a sudden think, why are we bigging Hull and Peterborough up and tearing ourselves down? What makes us think they're going to go on and win every single game? I know Dino's point before on the live... And hang on, I know Dino's point's been about... Yeah, Anthony, exactly. My point is, I know Dino said that you've got to be in the mindset they're going to win all the games. And I do get the meaning behind that. We have to win most if not all of our games to give ourselves the best chance. I do agree with that. But why do we think that Hull are going to win every single game when League One teams do not win every single game? Why is it just exclusive to us about not winning every single game and Hull and Peterborough are exempt from it all of a sudden?
Such a common theme in League One is for teams to be inconsistent. Is that not what we've learned in our 3 seasons? Like, teams will drop points when you would not expect them to. But Dino, I say you want it again.
Well, put it this way, right? This is my mindset, right?
Okay.
We've got to think they're going to win all our games. We can't rely on other teams to do us favours because most of the time they don't. They always get beat or whatever, right? So, I mean, look at the time when Hull and Peterborough were getting beaten. They scored 2 late goals and they ended up winning the games. Like examples like that, right? Stuff like that happens all the time. There might be 1-1 and they'll score last minute goal. But Peterborough will be like us. We've got to win all our games because Sunderland might win all their games. Hull will probably have the same mentality. And now with us losing and them two winning, them will still have the mentality we've got to win all our games because we don't Sunderland can still win all their games. Everyone will have that mindset in the top 3-4 who's going for promotion. You can't afford to lose games and we drop points when them won and it makes it look so much worse.
Terry, you want in?
Oh, what I would say to this
Michael,
is that... Hang on, go on. No, go on.
Because he's hand up.
All I want to see is it's down to Lee Johnson now. It's down to Lee Johnson to get this team up, to pick the right players for the team. For me, like I said before, what's the common theme on there? There's no Joshua Scowen. For me, you didn't play Scowen, simple as. He gives the ball out of play. I saw him pass the ball yesterday, left to right, to the invisible man, straight out of play. He does that too many times. For me, we can't afford to keep on giving the ball away. We need a player to get hold of the ball and get the ball forward. And it's down to Lee Johnson now to pick the right side, motivate his team, and get this team back on winning ways. And then we've just got to take each game as it comes, and hopefully grind out the wins, grind out the results, and then perform. I mean, I think that because we've only lost 6 games this season, I'm hoping it isn't our time now to go through a bad patch where other teams have lost 10 games might start going a good run towards the end of the season, like Hull and Peterborough. But you just thought, I mean, I got my hopes built up the last few weeks. I was excited about yesterday. My hopes were built up. I got kicked in the teeth. I'm at the point now where I'm just going to accept the playoffs. And if we get promoted in the top 2, it's going to be a massive surprise.
I think this could be a real test of how great for manager Lee Johnson is, because back under Jack Ross, and I think the circumstances were maybe quite different. I'm not entirely sure at the time, but it only took, I think, that one bad result. Was it Coventry 5-4? Peterborough. Yeah, it was Peterborough when we drew 1-1, and then we went. And was it Fleetwood after we lost there after being 1-0?
Yeah.
That kind of stopped our entire season.
Does that not remind you of now? Does that not remind you now? It was in our own hands, and we bottled it, and we ended up in the playoffs. This is exactly the same.
Dino, technically, mathematically, it is in our hands. All we need to do is, if we were to win every single game until the end of the season, including Hull, that's it. Top 2. There you go. So it is still technically in our hands, but regardless, this comes down to how great of a manager Lee Johnson is. And from what I've seen of him so far, he's been here a long time. He doesn't tend to sit on things for too long. Yesterday, I gave him a bit of stick because I thought he could have made the substitution a bit earlier. But regardless, he changes things more than Jack Ross. I think he thinks about things a bit more than someone like Jack Ross. But I know, Michael, you were wanting in beforehand.
Yeah, there's 2 points. I've seen the comment about what Nigel done on screen that Dean's a realist. Yeah, fair enough. But I do also think still saying that top 2 shouldn't be written off is also realistic. I don't quite see how that's not. The second point I was going to make was, yes, Hull and Peterborough will have the mindset Sunderland will win all their games. But like we've said ourselves here, doesn't mean we will win all our games. So just because we need to have the mindset they'll win all their games doesn't automatically mean they're going to win all their games either. So again, I'm not saying this like I think like it will definitely get top 2. I couldn't say that with a certainty. Of course I couldn't. I've already said earlier in the show. I think if we don't beat Wigan on Tuesday, then I think it's a big uphill task from there, and I probably couldn't see us getting top 2.
I think honestly, that's why if we don't beat Wigan on Tuesday night, Michael, I'm sorry to interrupt, but in my opinion, it's finished. Like, no, it's fine. That's it.
Just on Wigan. Just on Wigan.
But yeah,
so if we win Wigan, and then we could get beat off Blackpool. So you're basically saying you're saying the next defeat, that's it. Next defeat, that's it.
Because Wigan is a must-win game because it's one of our best opportunities. Yeah, agreed. But Wigan, more so because it's our best opportunity to pick up one of our best opportunities to pick up 3 points. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but are they not the team we've got to play that's lowest down on the table? I don't know.
Something like that. I think it's them in Northampton. Okay, let me put it like this then, right? People can look at our run and say we've got Blackpool twice, we've got Hull to play. Hull have still got to go to Lincoln, who are chasing for the playoffs. Charlton, who are chasing for the playoffs. Peterborough have still got to play Gillingham, chasing playoffs. Go to Charlton, chasing playoffs. Play Lincoln, chasing playoffs. Doncaster, by the time they play them, they might be out of it. So you could write those 2 games off potentially. But my point is, okay, if we got to, well, let's look at that. Okay, let's look at our last 4 then. Hang on a minute. Right, let's look. We've got Accrington at home, whose season will be done by the time we play them, I think. We've got Plymouth, who, I saw a group of mine tried to call. But regardless, you've got Hull, you've got Plymouth, and you've got Northampton. Now, if going into those last 4 games, we are 2 to 3 points of second, I don't think top 2 is unrealistic. Like I said, the next game, I think if we don't win that game, if we don't beat Wigan, then I think, irrespective of those games, I think if you say 4 points or 5 points behind them with 6 games behind Peterborough with 6 games left, that is probably an uphill task. And then I would mentally start preparing for the playoffs. I just don't think after one setback in 2 months that we need to just drastically change our narrative and say, all right, that's it, definitely gone. I'm not saying people are wrong for doing that. It's just something that personally doesn't sit right with me. If we don't win the next game, like I said, I think it might very well be over. I'm just not writing it off yet. Let's just wait and see what happens and see how much this team wants it.
You see the difference here, right? You see the difference. Michael hasn't let it go that we can get top 2. That's fine. I don't know where Michael's gone. I'm not going to argue with that, right? If Michael thinks we can get top 2, that's fine. That's his opinion. But in my mindset, I've already accepted we're doing the playoffs. Simple as that. I've wrote off top 2. I'm like, Terry, if we do get top 2, great. I was proved wrong. Well done. Woohoo, everyone who proved I was proved wrong. I'll hold my hands up. But for me, my brain's already thinking playoffs. Simple as that. I think the Charlton game was massive, and I don't think people realise how massive that is, that we got beat that game. I still don't think people realise that was a massive, massive game, and that was 3 points dropped really, really badly.
No, of course it was, and it could be really costly towards the end of the season. I think we can still do it. All we've got to do is do everything we can, and I do think we're getting in, because let's not forget, even if we didn't have Hull to play, I'd still be confident that Hull or Peterborough could drop points themselves. Terry, I see you wanting in again.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing. So I think Lee Johnson is a young manager and he has to learn one or two things. Now, I don't particularly agree with the 4 substitutions made all at the same time. Now, against Peterborough, it put us off our guard a little bit for 5 minutes. It took us to get going again. Now, against Hull, that interruption took everybody's eyes off the ball, and they got the second goal. Now, for me, in hindsight, change a sub at half-time, another one for 10 minutes a bit later on. Don't make 4 subs in one go. It's exciting and it's fun at the time, but it can't be good for the whole team setup. It cannot be.
Yeah. Just very quickly before we get on our last topic of the evening, if we are finished on this debate, by the way, 68 likes, 188 people watching. If you haven't already, please do give us a thumbs up. Just hit that thumbs up button, give us a like. If you're watching on a mobile device, you might need to close your live chat first. Even get 100 before the end of the night. We are also closing in on 6,000 subscribers as well. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe to SAFC Fan TV you won't miss out on anything else in the future, such as the Sunday Bunch, First Night Live, the watch alongs, and anything else we're going to do. Lads, I've got another talking point as well for tonight, something that I've been thinking about quite a lot. Wyke has got a goal in 5 games. Stewart scored on his debut, and to me, he looks as if he offers quite a lot of physicality going forward. Michael, I'll go to you first. Is it time to drop Charlie Wyke at all? Or is that too far in the future?
I know there's a bit of a controversy. Well, not controversy. I know there's a bit of debate around this. I do think that, in fairness to Wyke yesterday, he got at least 2 good chances that Wyke of, say, 3 or 4 games ago would have probably scored. So, but nevertheless, he didn't take those chances. I do think I need to see his hold-up play and a lot of the off-the-ball stuff is, well, okay, I say off-the-ball. His hold-up play in general, I think, has still been a lot better than his first 2 years at the club. I wouldn't be against dropping him just for one game to remind him that his standards have got to be kept high to guarantee his place in the side. I know that obviously Lee Johnson probably won't do that, but if he is hitting a sort of a barrel run where he's not scoring, then it's definitely the worst time of the season to do it. I wouldn't be against dropping him for Wigan to see how he reacts. It kind of, in a way, a bit similar to what Jack Ross did with Chris Maguire. I know they're not exactly the same situations, but one thing I will give Jack Ross praise for was that he wasn't scared to drop Chris Maguire when he wasn't playing well. And more often than not, we did tend to see a good reaction from Maguire. Let's see what that does for Charlie Wyke. Will Johnson drop him? No, probably not, but I wouldn't be against dropping him for Tuesday.
I think my main point would be that Ross Stewart looks as if he has quite a lot of physicality. He's a bit more of an outlet. Charlie Wyke, I do agree with you. Michael has improved overall as a player. His hold-up play can be better, but I think Stewart, he just seems to win more headers. He's got a bit more pace. He gives us a bit more of a foothold in the game, someone to aim for up top, and that's why I would like to see him come in. But Terry, I was going to go to you next, actually, but I see your hand up. You want in?
Okay, we drop Charlie Wyke, bring in Ross Stewart. He wins headers. What happens next?
Terry,
They go nowhere.
Well, he could chest the ball down and score.
Terry,
We don't know. Exactly, we don't know. The game hasn't been played yet, though. So, come on.
What I saw yesterday, last time he came on, okay, he got a couple of goals in the first game, but the crosses were better in the first game. Yesterday, these horrible balls from deep are no good. He gets up, wins the header, but then the defender gets it. You're not going to score.
Which is why you need someone playing just off him who can pick the ball. At the very least, Terry, it's more that Wyke hasn't scored in 5 games.
The only reason Wyke hasn't scored is because the assists are being garbage. The crosses are being garbage, like Dino said.
No. You had a chance yesterday.
What about that one-on-one chance yesterday? We can't say the assist there was garbage. Wyke should be scoring that.
Yeah, but he's too slow. Anybody else with a bit of pace would have been a lot closer and probably would have put the ball in the back of the net. He's not fast enough to do that kind of play.
Terry, he couldn't have got much closer. As for pace, he got the ball, latched onto it and had a one-on-one chance.
Here's a question to you, Lockton. Why do we change tactics? Why do you change something that works? Why? Fine well, Lee Johnson says we finally found something for Charlie Wyke. He's found his way. He gets in the penalty spot, one touch back of the net. We know what works. He's worked hard on it. Then why throw it all out of the window to change it to this shite deep ball?
Can I just put a caveat? Can I just throw a question out there for Terry? Actually, I just want to ask him this, right? But wasn't the criticism of Phil Parkinson was that he was too stubborn and not changing tactics?
Yeah, Michael, that's because it wasn't working.
Exactly.
But I think
but my point is, like, we're criticising Phil Parkinson for not changing tactics, and we're criticising Lee Johnson for changing tactics.
Michael.
So what's the solution then?
The solution is Exactly, Phil Parkinson, it wasn't working. With Lee Johnson, he was scoring goals. He got 3 or 4 goals in one game. He got 4 goals in one game. Aidan McGeady's crosses were fantastic. Why? Jordan Jones coming down the right-hand side, crossing brilliant. Why we just suddenly changed this? I just don't get it. I really don't get it.
I think yesterday the intent across the ball was there. It's just the crosses were too wayward in previous weeks. McGeady in particular, but other players as well. The crosses, the deliveries into the box have been pinpointed in the right areas. But yesterday they were in the right areas. They were going too high. They were going up towards the goalkeeper. I don't think the service was brilliant. White had a golden opportunity, but I still think the intent was there. Terry, I can see you.
I think it's all been changed. I can't see why McGeady's always cutting inside now. He's being told to do that. He's not doing it off his own back. Lee Johnson would say, get down the wings. White, get in the box. You're scoring all these goals with your header. You're second top scorer in the league. No, we'll just change it. We'll change it. What's the point of making it easy for ourselves? Let's make it difficult because we're Sunderland.
Yeah, I mean, my point with White, and I'll go to you, Dino, on this lastly, is that, he hasn't scored in a while. I don't want to dig him out too much, but he doesn't offer as much as what I can see Stuart can without scoring. And that's why I wouldn't mind bringing him in, because he can just give us something more to aim for. Dino, would you bring Ross Stewart in, or actually, would you bring anyone else in? Would you drop White?
Well, put it this way, right? Marco Gabbiadini put a tweet out, and I think he was calling out White. He said, it just shows our striker can only do one thing. Like, he's got nothing else. I mean, I couldn't quote the tweet, but he tweeted out, and it was definitely for Charlie White, basically saying he's only got he's a one-trick pony. Basically, he offers nothing else. With Ross Stewart, I mean, when he came on, he's winning headers. I mean, Charlie White doesn't really do that. When you play the ball up to him, he normally gets bars off the ball. I mean, like, all you need to do is, if you're going to play the long ball game, you've got Ross Stewart there, you just need to tell him, once the ball goes up towards him, get beyond him, because he will win the header. He might not, but most of the time he probably will. Don't forget, he won a couple of headers and had a couple of shots at goal with his header, but the shots, the crosses were that weak, he couldn't generate enough power, so they were just feebly going into his hands. So I think it is time for White maybe to be dropped. He's had a great season. I'm not saying drop him because he's shit. I'm saying drop him because he's not playing very well. He's not getting goals. He had his chance, a one-on-one. On the form he was on, the form he's had this season, should be putting that away. I don't care if you say it was a good save by Ben Amos or not. He should be putting it away. Simple as that. If that's Clark Harris, that's a goal. So, yeah, maybe it's time to drop him out for one game at least.
Just before I go to you, Michael, it's Spook Wolf White T says Greg can go for 500k, which was in response to someone saying bring back Will Grigg. That is definitely not an option I would consider. I know he's doing half decent at MK Dons, but for himself, that's definitely not. But you, Michael, you were wanting in there.
Yeah, I was going to say the argument about dropping White, I think also it would send a message out to the players that no one spot is guaranteed, and that to be in the side consistently, you need to be at your best consistently, or as consistently enough as you can for League One.
Yeah, lads, we've got one final thing, just quickly. Probably only really got time to get 1 or 2 points of view on it. But Jacob Kirkbride said, Jack Diamond given a new contract, but why isn't he playing at all? Dino, I'll go to you on this. Jack Diamond given a new contract, wasn't playing. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, like, yeah, you get a player on a contract, so if you want to sell him, you can actually sell him for a bit more money than you could, because if you had 1 year left, you've got to sell him for cheaper, because you can just say, well, you sell us for this much, or I'll just wait until and go for free. I mean, we've done it with Madja, we've done it with other players where we've let them go for peanuts because they haven't signed a contract. You signed a contract, you might not even be in in Lee Johnson's plans. It might just be to get a few more, couple of £100 for him, or £1,000 or whatever you're going to sell him for. Because let's be fair, Jack, he had a good start of the season, but he hasn't looked much better than Gooch. Well,
Jack Dodds doesn't look much better than Jack Dodds is better than Gooch, man.
Oh, did I say Jack Dodds? I mean Jack Diamond. Sorry, my mistake.
You just said Jack.
He didn't football, and he wasn't that good.
Hey, I'm going to tear up 5-a-side tomorrow, man. Just you lads wait. Unfortunately, Michael can't make it. But no, just with you saying that Diamond's had a good start. I don't think he did. I think he came into the side. And
he did. He was setting up goals and scored a couple of nice goals, and then all of a sudden
there was a few, but it wasn't very many. I think there was a few in his first few games, and we all kind of went, "Oh, he's brilliant. Why have we not been playing him?" And then he's been given more minutes in the squad. I think it's been proven. I don't think he's a natural footballer. He's a great runner. He's got great legs. He's got great energy, but end product for me isn't quite there. He's not too accurate. But anyway, we are just about out of time. It'd be nice to go around and get more opinions on this one. Maybe that can be a topic for another day. Just very quickly, I do want to give one quick last mention. There's 182 people watching, 83 likes. If you haven't already, please do give us a like. Hit that thumbs up button. If you are have the live chat up on your mobile device, you might need to close it very fast. See if we can get 100 likes by the end of the show. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel as well. I can see, Dino, you wanting in there?
Yeah, obviously, I'm starting to keep the names of everyone who donates, and obviously there's only one person who donated. So thank you, Marianne Carlo from Boston, Massachusetts. I can't say it properly. Thank you for the donation, much appreciated, and thank you very much.
Yeah, much appreciate our friend Marianne over in the States. But for myself, Jack Dodds, from Dino Elgar, from Terry the Madness Steak, and from Michael Bowers, thank you for everyone for watching. It's been a wonderful show, and we will see you for the watch along on Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. when we take it on Wigan. Hopefully, let's get a win. Let's get our season back on track. But we'll see you then. Bye bye. Take care.
Live.